Are you diving into Final Cut Pro and trying to figure out if you should copy your media to the library or leave files in place? Well, this decision will ultimately lead to you saving time, storage, and a lot of headaches down the road. So let's break down why you would pick either one of these options and what each of them actually means. When you import media into Final Cut Pro, you're going to get two options. The first is going to be to leave files in place, and the second is going to be to copy your files to the media library. This ultimately decides how Final Cut Pro manages your files. When you copy to library, Final Cut Pro is going to create a duplicate of your media inside of the Final Cut library. Now, this is perfect if you work on a single computer, want to save space, or if you want your entire project to be self-contained. Now, I would say use this if you care more about simplicity and you don't really care about managing your files yourself and you want to leave managing your files and media up to Final Cut Pro. This is also a good option if you tend to move your project from computer to computer because all of your self-contained media files are going to go with that singular Final Cut library file. Now let's talk about leave files in place. When you select leave files in place, you're basically telling Final Cut Pro all of your media that you have in your folder structures, you don't want it to copy to your Final Cut library. You want it to stay where it is. Now, that means Final Cut Pro is going to reference all of those source media files in your edit every single time you open up that library. Now, that poses an issue where if you decide to move your files, then they're going to unlink and you're going to get this error message here inside of your edit in Final Cut Pro. This is because when you leave files in place, it's up to you to manage your file structure correctly and keep track of all the media files that you have associated with this particular project or library. This option is great if you work with very large files that are off-site on an external hard drive or on a server, or if you just care about saving space on your internal hard drive. But one thing to make sure that you remember is that if you move any of those original media files from the original place that you linked them once you uploaded your media, Final Cut Pro is not going to know where they are and you're going to have to relink those files after the fact inside of Final Cut Pro. So which one should you choose? I would opt for leave files in place. If you're a neat freak and you like to organize your files yourself inside of your Finder folders, and you know that you're going to be organized enough to make sure you know exactly where your media files are in case that they get unlinked. And I would choose copy to library if you want a consolidated way of keeping all of your media files in one place so they're easily shareable and movable. And if you want redundancy to be able to duplicate them in two different spots and you don't really care about the extra storage space that it's going to take up. Keep in mind, you can mix and match. You don't have to stay with one of these options during the duration of your entire project. You can always start with your larger files having leave files in place, and then with your smaller media files like music and pictures with copy to library if you so choose. And even still, you can always mix and match which projects you use these options with. Like for example, me, if I was going to do client work, I'm going to use leave files in place because it's a more serious project and I'm going to want to make sure that I organize them in a way that's easily findable for me. And just in case something gets lost, I know I'm going to be able to find it if Final Cut Pro can't, just in case for my client. But if it's an easy project, like one of these YouTube videos, for example, it may be more likely that I'm going to copy to library because it just makes things more consolidated, fast, and easier because it takes it all away from you. Regardless of whichever one of these you pick, make sure you check out my video on how to create a Final Cut Pro template to save you time and get you to exporting your projects way faster. So there you have it. Whether you choose to copy files to your library or to leave files in place, it's up to you to understand how both of those fit with your workflow and how each one of your projects is going to benefit from each one of these options. Now, if this video did help, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and check out any number of my other videos on my channel if you want to see more about video editing, content creation, cameras, photography, videography, tech, and a whole host of other videos that I like to make. Thank you for watching. My name is Cyscoe. Peace.